Hey, so I have a surprise for you today and you would never have seen it coming! Because this video is not about Stark. Yeah, you heard me. I am steering clear of Stark for now. Probably we'll get back to it for the next video. But there's a lot of wank in the fandom right now, and I love you guys. I love you guys lots, but there's a lot of wank. Especially with the Derek and Jennifer making out scene coming up, which I'm not going to touch on at all. I have my thoughts. If you want to listen to them, comment and we can have a discussion or talk about it, or you can hear me rant about how Jeff Davis and his ability to characterization anyone else but Scott is kind of So I'm staying away from Sarek for at least this video until the madness has died down. So for this video though, I'm actually taking it to my other OTP, which is Kirk McCoy reboot only, because if it's original series, everyone knows it's Kirk Spock. But in the reboot, for me, it's Kirk McCoy because their interactions and their chemistry actually was a lot more believable. And I know Into Darkness kind of like hammed up the whole like Kirk Spock, like this is where Slash started. But it was okay. Another thing I shouldn't touch, Into Darkness, because I shouldn't touch J.J. Abrams. I liked the first movie. I loved the first movie. I thought it was really, really good. And the most that anyone really made fun of was the lens flare. Because back then, all they made fun of was the lens flare. But this next movie, I was very disappointed in a lot of stuff. Like, the plot was overall okay. The action was really good. The acting was really good. But there were some things that I was just like, J.J. Abrams, pat you on the head, go sit in the fucking corner. So this fanfiction is my most favorite piece of fanfiction in all the fandoms. In my over a decade of reading fanfiction, I love it. And there's only like 6, maybe other fics that actually, I don't know what this is, I really don't. But anyways, there's only about 6 other fics that actually like are up on this pedestal with this one, and most of them are Harry Potter, because Harry Potter was what I actually started reading for fanfiction. So the fanfiction is called Life Less Ordinary. It was written by Hand with Quill. And I actually looked into their AO3 account, and they haven't written anything in a while, and I'm very sad because I like this person's work just based off this one. Life Less Ordinary is a little over 7K. It is a pretty quick-paced story because it goes through the beginning of their first year of the academy up until like 2 years after the movie, the first movie, because this was a long time ago that this was written. I first read it, I think, 2010. So Life Less Ordinary, the name is actually taken from a song, which is by a band called Carbon Leaf. I'm not actually a big fan of this band. When I read this fanfiction, I listened to the song, I was like, oh, I really, 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 really like the song. I'll listen to their other stuff now. They have the song Life Less Ordinary by Carbon Leaf. It's a really good song, and she writes this fic perfectly to it. And it took me a while to realize this, because I had never heard the song before I read the fic. And I remember this. That it took me a long-ass time to realize that some of the lines that were... That's very prophetically said, or kind of off for lines from the song. Just how she does it is really good. And one of my favorite lines of all time, I think, is in the first part where, spoiler, but this is only the first part and this is the only one I will really talk about. McCoy comes back from class and Jim is already drinking, and they kind of like sit in silence for a while, and then Jim gives him a neck massage because he's stressful, because McCoy has to deal with a bunch of infants at the clinic, like he always does. And one thing leads to another, and they're making out, and McCoy flips out going, oh, you're drunk, you don't know what you don't know what you want, blah, blah, blah. So McCoy runs and hides in the library, and then when the library closes, he sits on the steps of their dorm room until he thinks it's late enough that Jim will be asleep. And when he comes back, he basically tries to sneak in going, if only he doesn't wake up, it'll be fine. And Jim completely, like, clear voice, no alcohol in his voice, no sleep, nothing, goes, by the way, I know why you stayed away. I will keep tongue-tied next time. And I'm like, okay, that's intriguing. I like that. I like how that's worded. It's weird, but I like it. I realize it's a line from the song. And it's not that big of a pairing anymore because a lot of people are trying to move away from the Star Trek movies and the fandom because there's a lot of wank towards J.J. Abrams that is actually very understandable. So it's not that big anymore. It's not updated as often. So you have to fall back on the really good ones, and this is a very good one. I would say read it first. If you want to read it again, read it with the song going because that's what I do, because I'm a dork. And probably for the first year that I knew this actually existed, this fanfiction, I read it like I think 6 or 7 times, which I don't ever do. So as I said, it spans a good chunk of years. I think it's 5 or 6 years, and it's very, very cute. It's very much a Kirk is absolutely in love with his best friend, and McCoy is oblivious. And every time Kirk tries something to show how he feels or tell how he feels, McKirk finds a reason, like, oh, you're having an allergic reaction to your medication, or you're drunk, you're silly, oh fool, kind of thing. How Kirk finally convinces him is the cutest thing ever, and I won't actually say anything more, but it's a really good fic. I give it a 5 out of 5. Of course I give it 5 out of 5. It's one of my favorites. So yeah. So please read it and tell me what you think, and maybe we could all just keep poking at Hand with Quill, and hopefully they will keep frigging writing. Like, the writing style is very well done and it's very well thought out. It does not drag. I very much like it. So yeah. That's fanfiction number 1. Fanfiction number 2. Second one. It is called Mixed Signals and is by Mijan. And it is a little over 5.5k words, and it's again Kirk McCoy, so McKirk, which sounds like a chicken. So I think we shall have another name for them. I don't know what other name, but anyways. So this one is a little, I wouldn't say angsty, but it's kind of heavy on the emotion front. Like, okay, so I'll read you the summary. Jim Kirk finds himself stranded on a planet's surface when an unpredictable ion storm cuts off transporters and apparently communicators. The ship can't hear Jim, but he can hear their transmissions. And then Leonard McCoy starts sending him messages, believing that Jim can't hear any of it. This is very well paced. I think it's a span of 2 weeks, maybe more. I can't remember exactly how long. I'm really bad at time frames. Jim is stuck on a planet by himself, and as the summary said, that the Enterprise is trying to hail him, getting him to respond so they can beam him out, but he can hear them, but they can't hear him. And McCoy is sending messages of his own, which is, I love it, because it also shows very well progression of how McCoy goes from, I'm going to kill you if you don't get your ass up here soon, and the desperation slowly starting to go into his voice until he breaks down. He's like, I didn't realize this before, but you can't leave me. I don't know what I'll do without you. And he finally says those 3 magic words, which you could have expected because this is McKirk. But the progression's really well done. The in-between of what Jim is doing on the planet and how alone he's feeling, all except for McCoy's transmissions and what he's reflecting versus what McCoy is saying, and shows how Bones is just getting more and more depressed and desperate in the fact that he is not sleeping well and he just wants his captain back, or he wants his best friend back. So the funny thing is, this is more deep and darker, not really dark emotions, but darker emotions than Life Less Ordinary, but it is a quicker and easier read. It is shorter than that, but it's very fast-paced. While Life Less Ordinary has a lot more internal stuff, where McCoy's trying to figure shit out. This one is very fast-paced, going from the day-to-day of his mostly isolation. It's a very good fic. You should totally tell me what you think. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's a really good fic. I liked how it was paced. The characterization is spot on. So anyways, those are my 2 fanfiction recs of the week, or the eon since I last, I don't even know. This is getting recorded a week after my other one got posted, but when this gets posted, who the hell knows? So I shall leave you with 2 amazing pieces of art. They will be fan art. Since we are on McKirk, I really hate that name. If anyone else can think of a better ship name, please put in the comments below it. I will call it that. Hate McKirk. So yeah, send in all the recs you want. I already got my first rec, which is awesome. And the person that was recking it to me was a real sweetheart. That person, thank you so much. So yeah, we end this video here. Guys, remember to like and subscribe. I don't know which one's which or where they are, but yeah, they're somewhere. Also, comments are very much appreciated. I love actually commenting back to you guys. It is really good to actually start conversations with you like I did the person who wrecked a Stark story to me, who, as I said, was a sweetheart. So yeah, that's all I can think of. Have some fan art.